Hi, this is Keith Bryan for Global SMT and Packaging Magazine at TPCA Thailand 2026. And I'm here with Mr. Swaek from Auromax, and we're going to talk about chemistry, and also he is Vice President of TPCA, so we will touch on the association also. So, welcome, sir. I understand you are very rare in our industry now as a family-run business. So perhaps you can tell me a little of the history.
Yes, so Auromax is primarily, we originated from Thailand. My father started founding the company in 1968. And primarily we have been focusing in the manufacturing and supplying, distributing, providing technical support in the field of surface finishing, both industrial solution and also in the electronic or some part of PCB fabrication processes. And where right now we have continued to invest, especially our own research development locally in Thailand in the past 12 years. We have also became more regional. We have our own subsidiary in Vietnam since 20 years. We also now have a venture and established our partner and our joint venture in India, also Indonesia, Malaysia, and a representative in China. With this expansion and establishment of PCB fabrication in Thailand, as you know, there's 50 PCB companies setting up here. So I have two hats. I'm also Vice President of and co-founder of TPCA Association, where we have been supporting the industry, the supply chain that is establishing here. On Auromax side, also we still continue we know that to get into, as a chemical supplier, a newcomer, it's not so easy for us to be able to entry easily because of the qualification and etc. But we think we have the basis. We have been supplying, for example, the final finishing, the ENIC process in the flex manufacturing in Thailand in the past 25 years. So we have some basis. But we want to continue also to grow into more processes. We also have an engineering unit that supply will be an easier support. For example, the online analysis machines, some of the supporting of the LDI or some other equipment that also we have the engineering unit that's supporting.
Are you seeing ENIC still as a growing process within PCB?
Of course, it's expensive.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because for me, as working with assemblies, it's always the best finish, because if it's done well, then it's flat, it's easy to solder, but unfortunately, as you say, it's expensive. But people now, especially with the more complex circuit boards, seem to have gone away from copper finish or coated copper finish to go back to ENIC because they have better solderability with it.
Yeah, we still, from our point of view, from this, what we survey is planned, there's still demand for the ENIG or ENPIG.
Yeah.
But of course, as Thailand still ramping up the technology, the level of fabrication.
Yeah.
Of course, like OSP and immersion tin, and I think some of the internal panels that use in server where it's not exposed to weathering.
Yeah.
I think there's more demand in immersion silver also, which is cheaper. But of course, it's probably more tricky to control in immersion silver.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still see that we also have for the ENIG and ENPIG. Also, we also work with our outsourcing partner. We see a lot of company may not, or they already have the ENIG production line here, but they may not be able to fill up the volume. But because of the gold bath, it's very expensive. So we do with our chemistry process, also with our outsourcing partner, where there's still a limited outsourcing partner here. So we still see some demand.
Yes.
That is still important for ENIG and PIG.
It's like everything within our industry. It's always changing, it's always evolving, and as you say, you have an R&D system, so I'm sure you're trying to find a better process which is also a little less expensive than the golds and the silvers.
I think there's trend towards some auto-catalytic gold, right, or direct gold, but I think, as we all know, the specification is not that easy.
No.
Although you can have innovation, but people want to be safe and I think a lot of application we cannot. I think with the timeline to ramp up, there's not much room for people to afford some critical changes.
Yeah. Okay, my last question is maybe a difficult one. I've been coming to Thailand for quite a while, and I've seen especially the last 5 years, almost an explosion of, in your view, with your THPCA hat, you think this is going to continue for maybe another 5 years or more?
Well, I think it's quite phenomenal, right? That in terms of suddenly, within period of 24 to 36 months, that there's set up 50.
Yeah, it's incredible.
PCB fabrication companies. On top of that, as suppliers, etc., etc. I think it will, but all this when you have this kind of explosion set up, there are people who will go through, and there will be dynamic change in the next 3-5 years.
Oh.
But I think with this investment, it will stay.
Yeah.
Right. But how it will turn out in the next 5 years is really depend on the product mix.
Yeah.
In terms of each company supply chain, customer base, and then also because I think there's a lot of people. I think this is the first time that such a size of investment that is set up for PCB fabrication that is non-Chinese speaking country.
I think for sure. Yeah.
I think it's new to everyone.
Yeah.
It will be challenging, but I think with this investment, it will be here to stay.
Yeah.
But how it would turn out in terms of how fast the pace that the vertical supply chain will continue to develop, we are not sure. But it's trending that way.
Yeah.
Right? With this supply chain risk, logistic risk, but of course there will be challenges in the next 12, 24, 36 months for everyone.
Yeah, but the BOI are stronger supporters of trying to grow manufacturing in Thailand, so I'm sure this is going to support everything which is going above it.
Yeah, I think maybe many people don't know, but actually Thailand did not invite PCB fabrication to be here. Everyone choose to be in Thailand.
Really?
It's true, right? They choose to be here. So I think there's a big learning curve for everyone, both government side, the private sector side, but it's as the Secretary General mentioned this morning, is a fantastic and a historical opportunity for Thailand.
Yep.
I think we are, as part of THPCA, our role is to help to educate and to all stakeholders to understand what is necessary to have also a win-win sustainable setup here in Thailand, both a foreign and a domestic local supply chain.
Yep. I think the next few years are going to be very exciting, and for your business also, because you're perfectly positioned to supply all of these people who are going to keep coming in and growing.
We are trying. We know that electronic industry is not that easy.
No, but if it was easy, it wouldn't be so much fun.
Right.
Okay, thank you for coming in and sharing with me today.
Yeah.
That's Keith Bryan for Global S&T and Packaging at TECA 2026.